I'm a dude. I'm just gonna talk about Wuthering Waves. I know. This is a game that I really like, and I played since beta. I didn't play beta, but I watched both. Back when like that good old grapple was the swing hook. You remember that shit? It was like leaped on, you just won. Female rover used to be thick. Like they made it all. She was like a lot thicker at one point. The UI was different. You had like the weird watch thing. The OG when it was like elemental reactions, but then they removed that shit real fast. I remember them showing Gang, outroing, huge tornado, Sanwa. Next, and the ice would combine with the huge tornado. Poof, ice tornado. Crazy shit. Pretty cool. Then we have what we had now was like intro, outro, but the buffs carried over, and then, then the buffs now don't carry over unless you're general support. I've been playing the game for a while. I have a lot of opinions on this game, and I could go for like 50 minutes. And I was trying to think of what to do. And it's just going to be woo-wah opinion pieces, I guess. I have a lot of things to talk about and how we could better this game, but I'm going to stick on one thing. It's going to be short because your time is precious, my time is precious, and it'll be easier for you to come back, I guess. I don't know. One, I'm going to talk about Rover. This will be today's really quick one. Rover's a little bold to talk about because no one really likes Rover, and the people that kind of talk about him good is just like, no guys, just look at this specific dialogue here, which isn't like, dialogue is actually important. So that's pretty valid sometimes if like you just didn't read it, but I want to give a different perspective because different perspectives breeds different opinions, which is great. We love opinions. So Rover, what I want to talk about with him is, I guess, his direction. Right now, Rover feels very robotic in some quests, and he's been given better dialogue options as time goes on. But I think he's a little bit robotic with his replies. I think 2.7 was a little bit better. I think this patch was a little better. But he has two other things that are great, and I really, really, really want him to hone in on. One, Rover is a savior, but he's not a savior of the people. He is a savior of the world. And it kind of makes sense when you think about it. Of like, he meets these people, he uses them for what he does got to do, and he is on to the next because he has a goal. There is no time for stopping. He's on a clock. He needs to get to it. I mean, the world's going to end. Rover needs to go, 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 go. So it's kind of interesting, especially because a lot of characters in this game are like people of power. They have political positions. They have a lot of political, Jinxie, Galata, Cantarella, Sanwa, Jian, Quinyon, Zani. I think if I look at a lot of them here, I think most people get the point. These people, mostly Augusta, these just popped up. Augusta, PB, because she leads the church now after that quest. She's like the head of the church, which is pretty crazy. Obviously, Jinxie, Shorekeeper has a place. The rest goes on. You get my point. Very important people. So it's kind of an interesting thing of like they're using him because they know who he is and he can get the job done, but he doesn't see the point to form a relationship because how is that going to help with his mission? And it's more interesting because of the characters that you can compare to. We have for Lova, we have Avidius. Two different things. One, let's compare Avidius first because Avidius and Rover share the memory problems. Okay, Avidius woke up and he had his memories and what he thought he was. He had his memories. He had these tall tales. He knew of the great things he has accomplished. But when Rover woke up, all he knows is, I failed before. I have a mission. I gotta save the world. And what's interesting about it is it feels like Avidius didn't know his goal. He didn't know where he was going, even before he found out his memories. He just knew where he was. He knew the before, but he didn't know the after. He knew he was a legend, but a legend of what? Where Rover, he knows the same thing. He knows he's a savior per se, but he actually knows where he's going, but he doesn't have any memory of how he got there, which is the opposite of Avidius. And it's very interesting because by the end of it, is Avidius more of a man than Rover? Well, sure, he's done more things, and he's done things that have actually affected people. That's the big thing with Rover. If anything, it seems like his attempts have not really affected the world for the greater good. But then by the end of it, can we say is Avidius even a man at all? Now Rover is the one moving forward. He is moving forward with his mission where Avidius has come to a halt. It was the one enjoyable thing about that fucking story quest. I hate that shit. Fuck off with it. But God, they bait you. You walk in, Avidius is there having a schizo episode. He realizes these trophies, these pillars, everything he has built up, it is holding on by a fucking paperweight. It's not real, and he starts to crumble. And it's just so interesting of their comparison. For Lova, someone affected by Rover, a man on a mission, he just keeps moving, and in the process, emotionally fucking with someone, leaving someone behind. Because he doesn't care. That's what makes him so interesting as a savior, because he is saving a world that he doesn't care about. I know. It's kind of cool, And I wish they would go with another direction. And this direction is from another thing, an opinion piece that I'll probably make another time. Because people are talking about it, but they're not talking about it for the right reasons, or even know what they should be saying. Companion quest. Encore. I'm glazing the shit out that quest. Gian. It was actually it wasn't even that bad. Pretty decent. I'm glazing the Encore one. Encore, if I remember. I know the end of it. And I know the major plot. But I remember at the start, she's telling a play. And either he's the knight, or she is. I think he's the knight in the play and she's the princess. Or it's like, Encore's the knight. Whatever. If he's the knight, it's so interesting because he was the knight, he was the heroine. And he saved the princess, but he didn't save the thing that matters, the queen. So by the end of it, the thing he saved is a shell of its former self. And sure, you can give the princess a hug, you can give her caring words, but at the end of the day, you cannot replace the warmth. You cannot replace the love and the sense of comfort that this little girl would get from holding her mother. And you won't even give her guidance because you are just a man. You are not her father. You are just a man. So you cannot give her the role of a father, and you cannot give her the love from a mother. And that is what's so interesting, because he saves, but it amounted to nothing. And I think there's one point at the end of the story quest where Encore runs up to her mother, and I think Rover is there, if I remember, and he's just standing there. And I know it's like, oh, well, obviously he's standing there, Why wouldn't you? She's going to hug her mother. But that's not a Rover's blood. Rover's a savior. He knows he has a mission. And I, in my mind, was like, he stood there, because what does he do? You are a savior in a world that cannot be saved. This little girl's world is gone. So you just stand there. It's good. Also, that quest made me play this character from day one. I don't know. Crazy. I lost my banner to her and I was like, oh, fuck it. Kind of cool. Anyway, the last one I want to talk about that gives this Rover perspective is Gian. And it's the same thing. Gian, he's a commander and he knows what it's like to be a soldier. So who do you think these soldiers would trust more in battle? This commander or the arbiter, The fucking divine being over here. The guy who's slaying the dreamless. And Gian, a lot of his fights people help, to be fair, I'm gonna be honest. But, is he gonna trust the arbiter, the leader of the Black Shoulders, which is a crazy organization in this world? someone who fought by the fucking Queen of Septimon over there, someone who's fighting the Imperator. No. Gian may not have all these heroic feats. He may not have as many world, like, ending fucking threats he's fighting over there. But these soldiers are just the people's soldiers, you know? They just protect, they protect the Huang from the war over there. And who better to trust with their life than Gian? A man who would know it far too well. A man who can give what Rover cannot. Praises and rejoice. And not just like when they win the battle, Rover goes, hell yeah. No. He praises them. That was a bug, wow. He praises them in their death. And not like negative, like, yeah, fuck you. Now I can go fuck your wife. But he praises them for trying. They don't make it to the finish line. But they ran and they ran and they ran till they were exhausted and they collapsed. Where, funny enough, Rover is just still in a way. And that is exactly why they will trust Gian, even though he doesn't have those feats, because he knows what it's like and he can connect with these people where Rover cannot. So now, instead of a savior in a world that can't be saved, he's a savior in a place where people have already found one. They don't need Rover. Gian has already stood the test of time. He is standing there as a symbol. And he may not be as powerful, but sometimes symbolism is more powerful than actions. Sometimes meaning, words are louder than actions. It's really cool. I don't know. That's my Rover opinion piece. I have so much to talk about in this game. Thank you for your time, whoever's watching. I'm gonna maybe do this regularly. If I get 10 views, I'm gonna get 10 views, I'm gonna make another one. I'm not able to move forward in life, or at least so I thought, because I can't move much physically. I saw people with my friends getting jobs where I couldn't because of reasons. School was easy for them where I could not pass a fucking thing. I just kept struggling and I kept trying. But as I've gotten older, and I'm not too old, as you can probably tell, I'm moving forward in other ways. So don't feel discouraged, You don't have to work a 9-to-5. You don't have to bring in thousands of dollars for your family. You can be a good father, a good mother, a good girlfriend, whatever, son, daughter, in so many different ways. You can provide in things that aren't materialistic. Provide your time, a good meal, warmth, and yeah. So this is going to be a weird other way of moving forward, and the vast other ways I'm trying to improve myself. I'm trying to put my opinions out there and maybe reach a new audience, and if we can build enough, Kuro needs to fucking listen. I have so many things, and I think this game is wonderful, but I think it's slightly going down in ways that are stoppable. And I want this game to be around for a long time. So yeah. If you could lend me your voices so I could shout even louder, per se. Thank you for watching the video. Have a good night, good day. Brush your teeth. Get to bed. And if it's still winter, go and sled. I don't know. Bye-bye.